What's up?
What's up, guys? My name is Damien.
My name is Kyle.
And I'm Alex.
We are Our Mind Center. We make short films and review movies, and we're coming at you live again with another review. We went to go see Ant-Man and the Wasp, the sequel to the hit film Ant-Man. Alex, what's this bad boy about?
So Ant-Man and the Wasp has to do with the events after Civil War. In this movie, they are trying to save Hank Pym's wife from the quantum realm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the movie.
Yeah, so with this review, we're going to tell you some things we liked, some things we didn't like, and some things that maybe we thought were pretty neat or cool. Like Alex was saying, this movie, it may not show it too much in the trailer, but the main plot of this movie is them trying to find the original Wasp, Hank Pym's wife, Hope's mom. And I think that is a detriment to this movie, and something that makes it work very well, or at least that's what they're going for. And I think, at least for me, as someone who really enjoys Marvel movies, and coming off the heels of what I think to be the best Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, I think it hurts the movie a little bit. And to give just my first point of view before I delve into it, I think this movie underwhelmed me at almost every single turn. Now I'll just start there. What do you think?
I want to say it overwhelmed me, but not much at all. I was expecting this movie to be good, and I thought it was a little bit better than good, personally.
Okay. I was very happy with it. I think it had kind of a weird start because this one specifically, in the theater, the way that they started out is they don't show any intro credits or anything like that. The movie just kind of starts with a black screen, and I thought that I may have been watching another trailer, but we were actually watching the movie. So that was kind of confusing to me at the beginning, but then from then on, I don't know, I really liked the movie. I really liked a lot of the quirks that they put into it, and to me it just felt like a superhero movie again, as opposed to something trying to be something more.
Yeah. So, like Alex was saying, this movie starts with like a cold open. It almost makes you feel like it's like a TV show, which Marvel, like their whole theme, the whole thing that they're going for is serializing all their movies to be like a TV show where you have like a season finale or something like that. And just like any other TV show, you have great season finales, or you have great mid-season finales where you're like, holy shit, can this show get any better? And then whenever the show comes back, you're like, yeah, that episode wasn't that great, but hey, I'm excited to see where the season goes from here. I think that is the perfect analogy I can give to this movie. One of my biggest problems in this movie is that I feel like this is a plot of what it should have been, like the first one or something. Whereas this one is almost too small for me. I don't need it to be another save the world or like, oh, there's a bomb that's going to blow up the world. But guys, this is right before your last Avengers movie. And I know I've heard theories and leaks and other people have conversations that Ant-Man is going to be a huge part. A huge part of it. And that's all fine and great, but I just really don't like how they handled that for me. Like letting me know, hey Damon, don't worry, Ant-Man's going to be a huge ass part of the next one. That's fine. But at least show me that. At least for me, I don't think they did a good enough job.
Are you counting the timeline against this movie? Because they didn't really have a choice. I don't think. I mean, I guess they could have technically, but
I wouldn't say it's more so a negative. It's just it's by design. It sucks.
To me, the way that they did this one, not connecting as much to Avengers Infinity War, was kind of a breath of fresh air for me. Because everybody's waiting for the next Avengers, and we're going to get it, but there's so much time in between that and this, and 2 movies coming out, that, I don't know, like, okay, I guess my issue would be if Captain Marvel came out before Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah. But for me, sitting down in this movie, I kind of had assumptions of what they could do to link that to Avengers Infinity War, but was pleasantly surprised that it was just a movie. That it was just, it felt more comic booky. The jokes, a lot of times, weren't very funny, but they felt comic booky. And I very much enjoyed the way that they did that and the relationship between Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I'm excited to see interact with more people.
Yeah.
And so for me, this being a standalone film as opposed to tying in with everything that's going on is a plus. Because I will watch this movie again, and I will watch it after all these movies that have to deal with the Avengers Infinity War and what happens after that. And so, I don't know, I really liked the movie.
I know I felt this way about other movies before, but Ant-Man is such a cool character, and I do really like Paul Rudd. And I was almost like, that's cool, dude. You get to get out of that typecast. You get to get out of that shit. And you get to be in a superhero movie where I hope people take you seriously. And I know his character is quirky because he deals with ants, but there's other ways to make a character relatable than just going goofy 100%. Like, just making him a goofball, where he's not smart enough to understand any of the languages, and there's even a moment where I think he is going to do something himself, but then they do a twist on it, it's not him, and I'm like, can you let Ant-Man do something cool so when I leave this movie, I can go, damn, Ant-Man's a pretty cool character. And so far, in these two movies, Scott Lang is the same person in both of them. He doesn't know enough to be the character. Hank Pym even tells him he wasn't even the one who was supposed to be fucking Ant-Man, it was his daughter. And it's just so much, like, degrading of him. I'm like, guys, let him do something cool in this movie, please. Yeah. Let him have a cool moment where he does.
Yeah, I agree with that. And what also sucks with that, like, just to further that, is, like, they, of course, make it a meme. Like, they're aware of it, and they make it a joke. Like, they make jokes about it. About the fact that he's not being a badass.
Okay.
But those jokes, like, specifically, because I do think that there are a lot of good jokes in this movie, but those jokes specifically don't work well enough to forget.
Like, at the expense of his intelligence.
Yeah.
Like, those jokes where they're like,
of course.
Like, yeah.
You know how many scapegoats there are? By ants?
Yeah.
I don't like that ants are such a big part of this movie.
I think for me,
like,
it's...
Ant-Man couldn't have done 3/4 of the shit he did.
Yeah.
Let alone Wasp.
And I know
without the ants.
Yeah, and I know it's weird because it's almost like you almost forget it. Like when it's his power. Like when you think of Ant-Man, you're like, oh well, he just shrinks. Well, no, he still does like the ant shit.
Yeah.
But like I agree with Kyle was saying, but I didn't even think about it like that until now. I'm glad you said something because I mean that is true. There's a lot of like ex machinas where it's like, oh well, don't worry, it's the
not scapegoats.
Well, scapegoats as far as the writing goes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well,
scapegoats
as far as situational
yeah.
as well. Yeah.
But like the. I don't know, even somebody who is so damn okay with like goofy stuff, sometimes with the ants or something like that, it's almost too goofy to like. There's something weird and off-putting about it that I can't get over. Whenever they use a CGI ant that's like the size of like a car or like a small vehicle, it's so damn weird, and it's just because how they're using them. It could be used good. But I think it's just how they're using them that when I'm watching it, I'm like, this is so damn goofy, dude.
Yeah.
And goofy isn't always a negative. It isn't. Watch Spider-Man 2. It's my favorite superhero movie ever. Goofy as fuck. It's my favorite superhero movie ever. Anything you know?
The emotional scenes I thought were pretty good.
I almost cried.
Yeah, I almost did.
Okay, well, let me rank this bad boy. Guys, coming off of the heat of such a damn good movie, and in order to further this universe, going to see it, it's almost like when you go see another Star Wars movie and you're like, dude, I need to know the answers. Or like, I'm so excited to see if I can have more questions going forward. And unfortunately, I did see this trailer, and if you have, I feel very, very sorry, because almost every action scene is ruined for you, and I think it almost comes across as a movie that it's not going into it. This movie does feel like a Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV episode. That, like, Paul Rudd, like, had a contract to do an TV episode, so he's like, yeah, I'll go do it, and then did it. This movie is its standalone thing, and you may find that as a negative, as I did, that it doesn't connect too much to the movie that came out literally 2 months ago. As far as a negative goes, I think that the writing is so weird that it makes great actors like Paul Rudd and Michael Douglas come across as very goofy. I think the soundtrack for this movie is bonkers, dude, and there's so much I really
positive or negative.
What? That was bad.
Okay.
It's bad. There is one incredible scene in this movie that I found funny. Almost every other line of dialogue, unless it's coming from the two henchmen that aren't Michael Pena, really dug, really thought it was funny. Everything else fell flat. This movie sits at a resounding, disappointingly underwhelming 5. 5 anthills out of 10. I think that this movie is trying so hard to be so many different things at once and failing almost every step of the way.
I wouldn't even say half of the jokes worked for me, but the ones that did work for me really, really worked for me. And I did enjoy the emotional scenes, and I agree with the action scenes aren't that great, and they're in the trailer, so that sucks. Not much for me really was added, like from the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with that, but a lot of the acting was really good, in my opinion. It's not as good as like I would like. I would have liked for it to have been. And I'm gonna rate this movie 6.8 dead presidents out of 10.
Wow.
Whoa! We just clapped at the same
This is
time.
kind of weird for me because I quite glaringly have a different point of view on this.
Mhm.
For like, I almost got triggered when you said it was like a TV episode because in my mind, I don't think it was even near as bad as most of those TV shows are.
Yeah, but I wasn't saying that as a negative.
Okay. Oh, you were saying just like an episodic event.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So, I think that this is a really good representation of what a comic book movie, in not only in style and obviously the fact that there's a comic book character, but in the way that it's set up, should be. And the way that we're getting them and going to continue to get them from Marvel. And there's so many superheroes at this point that we have favorites. And people have like, oh, I like the Thor movies, or oh, I like the Iron Man movies. And to me, this just felt like a comic book that maybe not a lot of people like, or maybe some people like this one opposed to that one, because everybody has a favorite character, comic books, and their favorite style of comic books. And for me, this one really worked as what they were trying to sell it as. I had a lot of fun, and there were awkward jokes, and I really do think that the acting was weird at points, and that's a negative and a drawback for me. But there was one joke in particular that Paul Rudd said that I couldn't stop laughing at, and from that point forward, every stupid joke just kind of felt like a cherry on the top.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I really enjoyed it. I got hit by the emotional things, and I was disappointed that all of the action was stuff I'd already seen. That's a pretty big thing that I think they should not have done. They should have been smarter than that when they were pushing the movie, but maybe they just didn't have faith in it. So they put the best stuff in the trailers, which I think is a huge downfall. But as far as the movie goes, it still has that action in it. So just as impressed as I was when I watched the trailer, I should have been in the movie. But that was taken away because of whatever. Anyways, I am going to give it an 8. I'm going to give it an 8 goats out of 10.
Wow, dude. Well, guys, that's a review of Ant-Man and the Wasp. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope that you also enjoyed the movie, because nobody wants you to not enjoy a film, and if they ever do, what a terrible thing. And so you do not forget, my name is Damien.
My name is Cal.
And I'm out.
We are Our Mind Center, and until next time, guys. Is him like himself in this movie, and it's his fucking movie. In all of the positive, it's like even yours, like I like this comic movie. I like that it's like an episode, a TV show, and I like how it's comic booky. But is it a good Ant-Man movie? Is it good for Ant-Man?
I think it's a good Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. Because it's
Gross.
called Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I think it's just
Her
I
name
do
is in bolds as much as his is.
I do think that but I still don't have to like the idea of that. 'Cause
No,
I
that-
do
yeah.
think they didn't have faith